watching News 10 Good Morning with Dan Elliott, Sharon Ito, and weather and traffic on the 10s with Monica Woods and Melissa Crowley. This is News 10 Good Morning.
Paige got a little fired up.
I love how excited Paige gets. That's so cute.
Yeah, three-pointer for Vlade. His first of the year in Sunday's Kings win over the Houston Rockets, 100-95. Your Sacramento Kings are the victors. They now have the best record in the NBA. The record last week for the markets wasn't one that you'd like. They had several bad days. In fact, Friday, the Dow closed down 109 points. NASDAQ was down 22. Ring that bell, Cap Lease, and turn things around. There you go. Good morning, everybody. The gang is here. We've got Jane McCarthy filling in for Sharon Ito.
That's right.
And we've got Darla Gibbons taking over for Monica Woods, who's on jury duty, and someone's going to be taking over for you soon enough.
Megan, yes, she's doing a great job. She's in studio, ready to go at a moment's notice to cover.
And we may need
Was Pam ready for Melissa yet? All she's doing is cooking back there for Melissa.
No,
Have you stopped eating yet this morning? You just...
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you.
Oh, wait, that was mine.
Well, no, you're drinking. You brought in grape juice this morning, and what kind of a cup was that?
It was like a little
anteater.
Yeah,
well, it's not mine. It's my son's.
Oh, cute.
See, when he has more snack cup, I'll be honest. It's scary. Okay, good job.
What about the weather, Darla?
We're going to see increasing clouds today and slightly cooler weather for your school bus forecast. Temperatures this morning around 58 degrees with mostly clear skies, mostly sunny for the recess hour and 70. And sunrise occurred about 24 minutes ago. And we're actually going to see some rain in the forecast. Are you having labor pains over there, girl?
No, Dan was just teasing me, and so I said, I'm going to get you good, Dan, one of these days. When he teases me, I'm going to fake a labor pain. Oh, it was Dan's voice. He brought it on. Anyway, that's not the case right now. Let's talk about our freeways at this hour. Central Valley is still the problem spot in terms of this situation. Southbound 5 at westbound 205 are right there. Still watching some delays due to an accident, and still getting word of some possible delays. Westbound 580 just east of the Scales. That was the scene of an earlier accident. Traffic may be a bit heavy as a result. Let's take it live outside this morning and show you how we're doing. Interstate 80 approaching the split with Air 10. So far, so good for our 80 commuters this morning. Biggest slowdown appears to be westbound 80 right around Antelope. Highway 50, no major problems. We showed you Hazel about 10 minutes ago. No problems to update you on. South of town, same situation. And this is one of the slow spots, 80 at Antelope. Watch for some slowing. Interstate 5 approaching the downtown interchange. And Highway 70 at Powerhouse Hill, that's south of Orville. We're watching an accident at that location. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Melissa. 6:32 is our time. It began as a local controversy in Elk Grove. This week, though, it is in the national spotlight. 2 days from now, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear the debate over the Pledge of Allegiance, specifically the words "under God." News 10's Mark Hedlund is back in Washington, D.C. to cover that bit of history. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Dan. Well, yes, this issue is expected to gain national attention. While this controversy began as a lawsuit 4 years ago, very few people expected it to reach all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Another surprise, the parent who is challenging the pledge is actually going to argue the case himself.
Pledge. I pledge allegiance.
We all know it by heart, this 50-year tradition now under fire.
Under God.
Two simple words. They're either a part of our nation's fabric.
And we will stand firm. The Pledge of Allegiance is our constitutional right.
Or the words "under God" inject religious doctrine into public schools.
It's more than just a simple phrase, you know.
As he left Sacramento 1 week ago, Michael Newdow hardly looked like someone about to address the nation's highest court. But he says he's ready to argue his case and ready to win.
The law is so clearly on my side. Look, it's Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. It's as broad as possible.
Hi, it's Thad Blizzard.
Constitutional lawyer Thad Blizzard has watched Newdow practice in mock courts. From what he's seen, the inexperienced Michael Newdow is ready.
I was very impressed by it. He's very thoroughly prepared, quick thinker, knows the precedent, knows the cases.
The key issue, separation of church and state. School officials claim there is no violation.
But since you can opt out, no one is compelled in our schools to say the pledge.
But Newdow is atheist. His claim, peer pressure for kids is strong, that the words "under God" make his daughter think her dad is wrong.
It's mostly me, and I have the right to censor the school without government imposing religious dogma.
Strong emotion on both sides of the argument, and really raising critical questions for Americans.
Important thing to examine what are our rights, and even if they're an unpopular view, where do the constitutional protections lie?
And at this point in the case, it is actually the school district that's on the offensive. The lower courts have ruled in Newdow's favor, saying that the pledge, including the words "under God," is in fact unconstitutional. Whatever the high court's eventual decision could have huge repercussions all across the country. In Washington, D.C., I'm Mark Edlund reporting live. Back to you.
And as you say, it is a case being watched all across the country. Thanks, Mark.
It is 6:35. Administrators at Folsom High School will be meeting today to discuss ways to make their campus safer and help students feel more connected. This comes after a 15-year-old student has been charged with rape, attempted rape, and 2 counts of sexual battery. News 10's Dave Marquis joins us live now. Dave?
Jane, good morning. The allegations involve 4 female students here at the Folsom High School campus who allege that they were all attacked by the same 15-year-old boy. All of the attacks happening here on campus. Now the school is working to find ways to make students safer. The principal saying the school wants to make kids feel more connected and is looking into creating what it calls small learning communities within the campus to bring closer relationships among students and between students and staff. Security policies are also being reviewed, and the school plans to hold discussions among students over what is appropriate and inappropriate behavior and what students should do if they find themselves in risky situations. Counselors from Women Escaping a Violent Environment are also scheduled to meet with district staff next week.
The response needs to also include, we're going to begin education right away in every grade possible about discussing appropriate boundaries when it comes to relationships. And otherwise, this cycle will just keep perpetuating.
Now, Weave staff will actually be meeting with school district officials on Tuesday to discuss education and other options that Weave may be able to provide help with, including issues like date rape and violence in relationships. And Jane, the 15-year-old boy who is facing charges, is being held in Sacramento County's juvenile detention facility, again facing 4 different counts in connection with the attacks.
Administrators being proactive. Thanks, Dave.
6:36, a Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy is recovering this morning after being shot on a domestic dispute call. The deputy responded to the call Sunday afternoon at a home on San Ardo Way in North Highlands. When deputies arrived at the house, they were met by a woman in the front yard. Her husband was inside the home. The woman used her key to unlock the door, and that's when the suspect opened fire, hitting the deputy in the shoulder. Deputies were able to arrest 33-year-old Rick Huerta. He was not injured, but this morning he faces attempted murder charges. The officer is in stable condition at the hospital.
Police are still searching for the suspect in a shooting at a convenience store in Sacramento. Police say a couple got into an argument early Sunday morning in the parking lot of the AM/PM on 29th and J Streets in downtown Sacramento. Well, shortly after the argument, shots were fired, hitting the man. The woman who was with the victim then disappeared. It's not clear if she is a suspect in the shooting. The victim's condition is unknown.
6:37 is our time. How much did the Bush administration really know about Al-Qaeda before September 11th?
What one former member of the Bush team has to say about Donald Rumsfeld and Condoleezza Rice. You're watching News 10. Good morning.
Hear News 10 weather every weekday on Smooth Jazz 94.7 KSSJ. News 10 and the Sleep Train Amphitheater rock. Get ready, because here's who's coming to town.
Baby, can't you see I'm calling? Gotta get what you better warning. It's dangerous. I'm falling.
For more information on upcoming concerts, go to news10.net.
Thinking about pizza? Think bruschetta. Think bruschetta. Taste the sensation.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Malibu with innovative and exclusive features the competition doesn't offer. And right now, get $1,750 total cash back on a Chevy Malibu or $3,750 total cash back on an Impala, which has more overall room than Camry or Accord. That's $1,750 on Malibu or $3,750 on Impala. The all-new Chevy Malibu. Turn the key. Start a revolution. See your Northern California Chevy dealer.
Slicing and dicing. You go, Mike Bibby. Yeah, boy, he is playing well these days. Yesterday, no exception. As the Kings knocked off the Houston Rockets, the score 195. Right now, we're going to tell you about this week's Free Friday giveaway. This is not a bad one. Tickets to the Cal Expo Total Home Show. The tickets are good for March 26th and 28th or April 2nd to the 4th. If you watch News 10 Good Morning on Wednesday and Thursday this week, we'll tell you where to go to get those freebies.
It's not the partial home show, it's the total
home show.
Hi, Darla. Hey there. They're manufactured homes. So it's going to be cool. Heather's going to be out there. And we're also giving away tickets to Harrah's Reno's buffet, dinner buffet.
Cool.
So a couple things given away out there. Should be some good stuff. And I want you to go see the houses out. But Monica has jury duty. She's serving time. Some clouds out in the area now. I'm not sure where Cecil is, but he looks like he's over the Fairfield area right now. 52 degrees in Sacramento and Stockton. Fairfield also checking in at 52 and 31 degrees at Lake Tahoe. Temperatures today will be cooler along the coastal areas once again. Temperatures in the 60s for the Bay Area, 70s here in the Valley to right around 80 for downtown Sacramento, 70s for the foothills and 60s for the Sierra. All under partly cloudy skies will have increasing clouds throughout the day. It is going to be breezy through the Delta, already getting a 23-mile-per-hour wind for Fairfield. We'll see winds sustained there from 15 to 25 miles per hour, but for the Valley, winds to around 10 miles per hour. There is going to be a change in our weather pattern come Friday. There's a cold front that's going to move inland, bringing us a chance of rain starting Thursday night into Saturday. The last time we saw rain was March 1st, and typically we see about 3.15 inches of rain for March. This month so far, only a third of an inch of rain, and that brings us to almost 14 inches of rain since July 1st. Only 81% of normal, so we do need the rain. Unfortunately, we're not going to get a lot of rain from the system moving in. 80 degrees today, cooling down steadily throughout the week until we hit 68 degrees on Friday with that rain moving in. Now here's Melissa.
Our Bay Area and Central Valley commute having a few problems this morning. First one in Fairfield, westbound 80 near Travis Street. 3-car accident reportedly causing some delays in parts of Fairfield, and also still possibly causing some delays. Your commute westbound 580 approaching Greenville. Earlier accident there has slowed things just east of the scales. Still a trouble spot reported right here, southbound 5 at westbound 205. No big problems reported for our commute approaching Sacramento, though certainly plenty of company. How about our Roseville commute? Air 10 showing us things right now. Interstate 80 approaching the 65 intersection there. Pretty typical commute underway, and no major accidents along 80. How about Highway 50? Let's take it live outside and show you conditions right around Hazel, looking good. No big slowdowns to contend with. Normal slowdowns include from south of town. 99 at Mack Road is one of them this morning. As we check in with our Caltrans camera from that location, Interstate 5 both south and north of town doing well. We'll have more on your Central Valley commute and the trouble spots there in 10 minutes. Now back to you.
Thank you, Melissa. Well, if you're trying to quit smoking, stress can get in the way. Physiologists have found that the reason for this is different in men and women. Researchers asked men and women smokers to report their level of stress within the first 24 hours they attempted to quit smoking. Well, during that time, physiologists measured a hormone called cortisol. Among male smokers, levels of cortisol strongly predicted who would eventually start smoking again, but for females, that wasn't the case. The prediction for women were their own reports of stress.
Studies have indicated that women report that they smoke to feel more relaxed. Men tend to smoke to cope with the craving or the absence of the substance of nicotine.
Al-Abzi says he thinks this might explain why men respond more to nicotine replacement therapies, while women respond more to psychosocial therapies like support groups. But regardless of your gender, he says the best bet is a combination of both.
6:44 is our time to check some early numbers from Wall Street. Dow starting off the day down 86 points. NASDAQ is down 17 points. So more criticism of President Bush and the way that his office has handled terrorism, and it's not coming from Senator John Kerry. Rather, the former White House anti-terror chief, Richard Clark, says it's outrageous the president is running for re-election on the grounds that he's done great things to fight terrorism. In his new book, Clark claims the president ignored terrorism for months, and he says the administration underestimated the threat from al-Qaeda prior to 9/11. Clark says he's going to share that information that he has in his book tomorrow when he testifies before a federal panel investigating the 9/11 attacks.
People in the White House were thinking, this gives us the opportunity we've been looking for to go after Iraq.
And the reaction you got that day from the Defense Secretary, Donald Rumsfeld, from his assistant, Paul Wolfowitz?
Well, Donald Rumsfeld said, when we talked about bombing the al-Qaeda infrastructure in Afghanistan, he said there were no good targets in Afghanistan. Let's bomb Iraq. And we said, but Iraq had nothing to do with this. And that didn't seem to make much difference.
But the administration has made the point that their response immediately was to go into Afghanistan.
Their response that week, they debated Iraq versus Afghanistan for a week. And their response that week was, let's do Afghanistan first, with the clear implication that there was a second. And the reason they had to do Afghanistan first was it was obvious that al-Qaeda had attacked us. And it was obvious that al-Qaeda was in Afghanistan. The American people wouldn't have stood by if we had done nothing on Afghanistan. But what they did was slow and small. They put only 11,000 troops into Afghanistan. There are more police here in Manhattan, than there are U.S. troops in Afghanistan.
You right.
Well, Dick Clark was indeed the counterterrorism.
Condoleezza Rice disagrees. She says White House officials closely monitored threats before 9/11. She and the president met with the CIA director every day. The White House claims the strategy to attack al-Qaeda was ready for the president's approval a week before those attacks took place. 6:46 is our time. 2 ministers from New Paltz, New York are going to be arraigned today. This is on misdemeanor charges for marrying same-sex couples. That's one of the stories making headlines around the nation and the world. The ministers say they will enter pleas of not guilty. They are charged with the same crime as the mayor of New Paltz. Last month, he married 25 gay and lesbian couples who didn't have civil marriage licenses.
The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments today on whether people have the right to refuse to tell police officers their names. The issue stems from an incident you're watching right now. A Nevada man refused to show a sheriff's deputy his ID. He was arrested and fined $250 for causing a delay to a peace officer.
A soldier and an Iraqi interpreter were killed today in Iraq. The military says they died when a bomb exploded near a U.S. patrol in western Baghdad. 3 other soldiers were also injured in that attack.
The man suspected of the Ohio sniper shootings will make his first court appearance today. So far, police accuse Charles McCoy of just one of the 24 shootings that have terrorized the Columbus area for months and also killed a woman. McCoy was caught in Las Vegas last week.
And the 9 victims of the worst mass murder case in Fresno history are going to be laid to rest this week. 57-year-old Marcus Wesson, seen here in court last week, is accused of killing 9 of his children and grandchildren inside their Fresno home. His arraignment is being delayed until Thursday so he can retain permanent legal counsel.
Time now is 6:48, and it looks like we're in for another sunny week with an exception.
Darla and Melissa check in one last time with weather and traffic on the 10s on News 10. Good morning.
This is March Madness on wheels at your Pontiac dealer. The time of year when you step it up and leave the weak stuff at home. Here comes the
Blow past the competition and the gas pumps in the hottest selling car in its class, the 2004 Pontiac Vibe Western Edition, and get $2,500 total cash back.
March Madness on wheels at your Pontiac dealer.
Let's be ready, people. Okay, 10 seconds if he washes up, 5 seconds if he doesn't. And he's back. 5, 4, clear the set, 3.
Thanks for pausing it.
Pause, rewind, and replay live TV with a DVR. When you get SBC Dish Network for $39.99, you can get a DVR for just $4.98 more. Because what connects us most is our need to be connected.
Spring is here, and so is this incredible sale on Comcast high-speed internet. Call now and get the cable internet speed you've been waiting for. Video clips play in real time. Music and photos download instantly. You're free to surf the net. Your phone line's free for calls. Call 1-888-824-8068 and get Comcast high-speed internet for only $1 for your first month. Hurry, Comcast Spring Blowout Sale ends March 28th. Call 1-888-824-8068 right now.
The fight against illegal drugs has cost the U.S. government $75 billion in the last 5 years alone. Despite a record number of raids and arrests...
There's another drug war in America. The fight for affordable prescription drugs. The new Medicare law is a good start, but more must be done. That's why AARP is fighting to legalize the safe importation of drugs from Canada and to allow the government to negotiate lower prices. It's a drug war we can win.
Welcome back.
We do weather and traffic on the 10s, and that is why Darla Gibbons is here with us. Good morning.
That's right, because Monica's on jury duty this week. And take a look at this. They're rowing out at, I guess, that Lake Natoma again, once again. Out early this morning. Mostly clear skies out this morning, but by this afternoon we'll have more clouds moving on into the area. Temperatures right now throughout the region, 54 degrees for Sacramento and Modesto. Roseville also checking in at 54, 58 in Auburn, and 52 degrees at Pollock Pines. The area of high pressure staying in place for at least today. Tomorrow we will notice cooler weather in the region. That's because we'll have a system coming out of the Gulf of Alaska that's going to start to weaken that high pressure system, and we'll have some rain in the forecast by about Friday. Pollen counts high today for trees. Ash, mulberry, and oak are the culprits, moderate for grasses, and we'll see higher levels actually on Wednesday. In San Francisco today, look for partly cloudy skies with winds increasing to 15 miles per hour this afternoon. 61 degrees for San Francisco, lower 70s as you get to the inland areas. 78 in Woodland today, 79 for Davis with increasing clouds. The San Joaquin Valley will see temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Here in the Sacramento region, look for highs from 77 in Folsom. That is not 90 degrees for Sacramento, 80 degrees for Sacramento today, 77 in Yuba City, 79 in Oroville, and in the foothills, temperatures will be in the mid-70s. In the Sierra, look for partly cloudy skies out, and temperatures will be in the 60s, 62 degrees from Tahoe to 72 at Quincy. We'll have cooler weather by Wednesday, and then 68 degrees on Friday, which is our average high, with some rain showers. Here's Melissa.
Lots of company right now from south of town for our morning commute, northbound 99 at Mac included, and watch for an accident location southbound 99 at 12. How are we doing on Interstate 5? Normal slowdowns this morning. That includes by the downtown interchange as we take it live outside. Normal backups here come to basically a standstill northbound 5 getting onto the Cap City Freeway. No accidents to contend with those. Same situation coming in from Natomas north of town on Interstate 5. What else to expect on our freeways? Some slowdowns already reported on Interstate 80, including right here at Antelope. At 10, keep an eye on the Highway 50 commute for us at this time. Right around Hazel is where we're watching this morning with our Air 10 power zoom showing us the freeway here. Watch for reports of a stall approaching westbound 50 right around Folsom. Thanks, Air 10, for showing us those shots. And check out the backup here in Fairfield. This is a little bit heavier than normal near the Waterman Boulevard exit. We have reports of an accident westbound 80 near Travis, and this lovely face is not causing any slowdowns. That one, on the other hand. Back to the backup. Whew, thank goodness. Westbound 80 in Fairfield, a little bit slow again through stretches of Fairfield approaching Travis. And one other mention, Highway 70 at Powerhouse Hill Road, still watching an accident at Palermo. Back to you.
You covered up for me very effectively there.
I'm not causing
Melissa.
any slowdown.
6:53 is our time. This morning we have been talking about the fight over two words, whether or not to keep or take out the phrase under God in the Pledge of Allegiance.
The issue goes before the Supreme Court this week in our nation's capital, and that's where we find News 10's Mark Hedlund this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Jane. Well, this hearing is coming up on Wednesday. It will be a 1-hour oral argument before the U.S. Supreme Court on an issue that started in the Elk Grove Unified School District and has moved all the way up to gain the attention of the nation, whether or not the pledge with the words "under God" should be deemed unconstitutional. Now, the argument from the parent, Michael Newdow, he is an atheist, and he says by having his child being part of this, even though it's voluntary, part of this recitation of the pledge saying "under God," that injects religious doctrine into the public schools. The school district says, no, it is not. Number one, the pledge is voluntary, that children can opt out and do not have to say it if they don't want to. And number two, they say the phrase "under God" is not really religious because it has been in the pledge for the last 50 years. It is actually more traditional, more historic, and has more to do with our nation's heritage than it does to do with any particular religion. So that is the basics. Those are the basics of the arguments that will be heard before the U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday.
But Mark, it could all be a moot point because the custody issue could enter into the whole matter as well, right?
That's exactly correct. When they come before the U.S. Supreme Court, there are limited questions that will be addressed. There are two questions, and the very first question is whether or not Michael Newdow has legal standing to be harmed by this. He is a non-custodial parent of this child. The child's mother actually has legal custody of the child, and so the school district is arguing, look, he doesn't even have standing. He's not harmed because he's a non-custodial parent. Therefore, the issue is moot. Some people have said, well, if the court really wants to duck this huge issue, they can simply find that he doesn't have any standing and let it go at that. Other people say if they thought that was the case, they wouldn't have agreed to hear this case in the first place, so we'll just have to wait and see how they decide on that issue.
A fascinating case. Mark Hedlund reporting live in Washington, D.C. Thank you, Mark.
6:55. We've also been talking this morning about some plans to make changes out at Folsom High School.
That's right. The plans come after a 15-year-old student was charged with rape and sexual battery in connection with 4 attacks at the high school. News 10's Dave Marquis joins us live in Folsom with a wrap-up. Good morning, Dave.
Jane, Dan, good morning. First of all, the school is planning a top-to-bottom review of its security operations and measures in order to try to make the campus safer for students. But on a deeper level, they're looking into other things, some very interesting things, including what they call these smaller learning communities that they're thinking about implementing here. You know, they're wrestling, like so many high schools around the country, with their size, 2,400 students. The idea to create these smaller communities within the campus to kind of bring a sense of connectedness and closeness, just one of the many kinds of things they're looking at out here, and other campuses are looking at that face similar problems as well.
A lot of issues. Okay, thank you, David. We're wrapping things up at 6:56. A reminder, you can see Bobby Jackson today out at Nordstrom, 4 o'clock at the Arnfair Mall. It's Action Jackson time. Get a shot of this. If you contribute to buy one of these T-shirts, you're contributing to the Bobby Jackson Foundation in memory of his late mom, Sarah. She died of breast cancer, so they're trying to raise money for a very worthy topic.
They also have some ones for the women with little cap sleeves.
They do. In fact, one of these would look good on Cecil King. Let's go on up to Air 10, the sleeveless look. Oh, neat shot there. John Larimore at the controls. Good morning, Cecil.
Good morning.
Yeah, what are we looking at through your cockpit there?
I'm sorry?
What are we looking at?
You're looking at it as if you were sitting on John Larimore's shoulder looking out in the front. We're following 50 down. I thought this would be a different shot for you guys.
That's a very cool shot. Thank you, sir, and thanks to John as well. That does it for News 10 Good Morning. We thank you for spending some time with us.
Have a great day.